Good evening. My name is Eric. This is Raju. We have Josh and Andrew. And George, our fifth member of the group, no longer lives in the state, so I will be filling in for George tonight. He accepted a position at Madison, Wisconsin, and he submitted everything. We just will perform it without him. Anyway, our discussion tonight is on personal multimedia and communications. We'll begin with Raju on a bit of the history.
Actually, multimedia and communication in personal sectors started as a distinctive feature in the early 20th century, but it continued till 21st century. Now we started merging into together in home environment. So when we talk about the brief history of like different personal multimedia devices, like we see audio and visual device for capture or playback used either to name or on the go. So we want to talk about different devices for the home multimedia. So when we talk about TV, actually TV started in 1920 by Vladimir Zhurkin, demonstrated first electronic TV. And first TV transmission is done by BBC in 1930, and then in 1936 there are only 200 TVs worldwide. In 1969, 600 million people watched moon landing all over the world. But like in 1956, Robert Adler from Zenith introduced first TV remote control. It's called Space Commander. The next one is home stereo system. In 1940, Disney introduced the Fantasound first stereo sound system, because it has a drawbacks like a ping pong effect or wall effect, because sound was not clear all over the all around the room and other things. So then there was a new development in the audio system. It's called surround sound, which was introduced by Dolby music systems in 1970s. Then next comes video recording and video players, another thing. This might most people know. This was video playing is introduced by Betamax in 1975 by Sony. Betamax format introduced by Sony in 1975, and JVC introduced a new format in 1976. There was a big war going on between them, but ultimately VHS successfully commercialized the product. Then in DVDs were introduced in 1997, and in last 8 years there were 100 million DVD players sold in the United States. The latest phenomena in this thing is like personal video recorders or digital video recorders, like a TiVo and other thing. These are some of the multimedia devices. So then when it comes to personal communication devices, the first communication device, handheld communication device is like in the form of CB radios, which was introduced in 1945 as Class B. Actually CB means citizen band radio, which used first time for a communication at 460 and 470 megahertz. Then next primitive model of cordless phones introduced in 1980 in a 27 megahertz band. Because it has a lot of noise and so short distance problems, then the frequency range increased to 47 megahertz in 1986, and then subsequently increased to 900 megahertz in 1990. And ultimately, whatever we use the cordless phones now in the 2.4 gigahertz range in the digital spread spectrum. So then pagers were introduced in 1921 by Detroit Police Department. But there were only in 1959 there were only 3.2 million pagers worldwide. Today, like in 1991, it has 61 million pagers worldwide. Then next is cellular phones. The first cellular phone concept was evolved in 1947, and it took almost like 30 years to introduce the first commercial cellular phone service, which was done by AT&T in 1977. And now everybody cannot live without having a cell phone. That grown so much. So the next like communication device is a PDA, but PDA started as a organizer, digital organizer. It was introduced by Python in 1980s, but first like PDA as a portable computer introduced by Apple, like Newton introduced by Apple in 1993, and but modern day PDA introduced by Palm in 1996. Now Eric is going to talk about the home multimedia.
Hello. The home multimedia, what exactly is that? The home multimedia is basically multimedia. We have audio and visual combined together for basically, in this century, the first time ever. What we've got is 3 primary technologies that we are now using for our home multimedia. We have the audio component, the video component, and now the wireless component to allow the communication between these devices within our homes. The audio technology side began with like the phonographs, the radios, analog media, which was basically records, 8-track tapes, for those of you old enough to remember those, cassettes. And then we've moved into the digital media, which includes the compact discs and now the MP3 players. The video technology started with a lot of the 18 and 16 millimeter video projectors. Again, another age thing. If you remember wheeling the carts into the classroom, you had to put the big spools on. Yeah, okay, I'm glad those days are gone. Okay, and we also now have moved into having this media brought to our homes with the cable, DTS, and satellite programs broadcast directly to us. We also have DVD media where we can buy, rent, and record our own onto basically just a very small disc. Now that we have dual layer, we're up to over 9 gig of data on a single, just very small item. With the advent of the DVD recorders with hard drives, which is basically a TiVo, but now we have control and don't pay a subscription service for it. We can now record, control, do chase and play, skip all those pesky commercials. And also we now have the digital video recorders. I've just got my first one. I've been playing with that. I put a little SD chip into it. There's no tape. There's no nothing. I put an SD chip in, put it in HD resolution, and go. Fits in the palm of my hand. Also, we now have high-definition recordings and broadcasts. So now we can record all of these high-definition broadcasts in high definition in the comfort of our own home. Wireless technology, what we're using to glue it all together. It started with, I'm throwing wireless and infrared are fairly divergent, but I'm throwing it in for this. Usually, it's just a technology where it uses a light signal to control like your TV and so forth. That's why you always have to have the line of sight and point to it. But now the remotes are starting to move into the actual FM transmitter where it's an actual wireless radio a signal that's controlling this. And these computerized universal remote controls where they have a full digital readout, they're actually a handheld computer that sense and control every device in your house. And now we've also got now the 802.11x technology, 802.11b, G, N, that we use to home networking. We also use our cordless phones, use that same technology. That's actually where it started. And our home networks are now bumping up to speeds where we can transfer all of this digital media in between the devices. I just put an 802.11n technology into my house, and it's phenomenal. I mean, I have an old house. I didn't want to run all the cabling, so I just went with high-speed networking. Now, bringing them all together. What are these interrelationships? Now, if you look at the picture at the bottom, that's actual new product that was just released a couple weeks ago called Apple TV. What it allows you to do is it's a little box, about 1.5 inches thick, 8 inches square, that just sits on your TV. It plugs right into HD-capable television, and what it does is everything that's in your iTunes, and that's any TV show, movie, or music that you've purchased, or anything you've imported into the library. So I get a lot of stuff off YouTube and all those things. You can import it directly into your iTunes, or with a slight conversion. and then it stores with a hard drive right at your television wirelessly through your laptop. So I download all this stuff, throw it up to the television, and then you just play it through your HD television just whenever you want to watch it. Also, I don't have this yet. The wife has now officially said, you may buy this, but I'm still waiting to see what the next generation will have. What I do have right now, I just finished hooking up, was I have set up my home theater system with a wireless transmitter. So now on my laptop, I choose my home theater speakers, and I wirelessly through my home network broadcast all of my iTunes music to my home theater system, 7.1 surround sound, and I can blast the house however I want it. My 15-year-old loves this when we leave. You can see him. He gets comfy on the couch with his laptop as soon as we're walking out the door. You know he's going to blow the speakers as soon as we get out. But it makes it real nice you can set up a party mix when you've got friends over, and you control it from another room, and it's all controlled, nice, no wires, neat and clean. Now, that's just what we can do today. What are we going to be able to do in the future? 3D technology without the goofy glasses is coming soon. There's just a lot we can do with technology in the home. It's becoming a wonderful place to immerse yourself in a little escape from reality or relaxation therapy, however you want to call it. The technology is getting closer and closer to where you actually feel like you're there. And now I'll pass it on to Josh on home security.
Hello, I'm Josh Norman. I'm going to talk about security in the home for that multimedia and wireless technology Eric and talked about. Now that wireless technology is so prevalent, I mean, you guys are using it in your coffee shops, you're using it in your home. You could be walking on campus down the sidewalk, surfing the internet. The problem with that issue is the advent of wireless networks has drastically increased risk, and attacks are still on the rise despite increased spending in security. So you're walking. It doesn't happen so much when you're utilizing someone else's network, like a corporate network, or you're utilizing the school's network, but it's in the home. These manufacturers are manufacturing wireless routers so that the average Joe consumer who is a dummy when it comes to security can just plug it in and it works. He doesn't want to get it and WEP is enabled and he's like, what's going on here? He's confused, he's calling customer service. That costs the company money. So you've got all these unsecured wireless networks everywhere. People are using them for their multimedia and all of their communications access. And you know, anybody with a tin can and a wireless NIC can drive up in their car and gain access to their network. I mean, it's just a very scary thing. And people just aren't aware. Most users are unconcerned or unaware of risks, and most users take no action to use existing security. So a lot of people, they're thinking, when you're talking mobile technology, maybe you're surfing the net on the internet, you're not really thinking about, well, I'm putting in these passwords, or somebody may be using a keylogger. People are just oblivious. I mean, they are just completely unaware of the security threats that are out there. And that's the scariest part about it. You know, just like I talked about, you have a tin can and a mobile NIC, and next thing you know, somebody's got your password to your bank account on bankofamerica.com, and they're filtering out your funds. And next thing you know, you go to your bank account the next day, $0 balance. How did that happen? Well, you didn't employ wireless security. The biggest things we can do to be proactive against threats like war driving and other wireless attacks is user education. You know, people just need to be educated on what happens. I think the manufacturers need to be responsible and have a notice right on the front. You know, when you open up that wireless router or you get that wireless NIC, it says wireless security does not come default enabled. Security by design and not an afterthought. It needs to be built in. You know, ease of use is important, but we need to take a bigger stance that as a people, we want security to be built in. data encryption. This is what keeps your data from being taken by a malicious user. Mobile WEP is a great example of a fail-safe. What WEP is it's an acronym for Wireless Encryption Protocol. It's a logarithm that all your data set of little ones and zeros, they go through a logarithm and they're encrypted with 164-bit data. Basically, it's like taking your data and disguising it, and so that from one end to the other on that wireless link, it is completely disguised, so no one can tell what you're sending. You know, you may be sending "I love Jenny," but instead it reads "I love kitty cats that live in trash cans," right? So it's completely unintelligible to the person who's trying to intercept the data. Okay, and you may not have to worry about this cat burglar here with wireless encryption, but that is just it. You know, you don't have to hold the cat at gunpoint. The person can be right outside your house. They don't even have to get inside your house. That cat is outside just with his laptop and his wireless NIC, just taking your data. Wireless technology is an irresistible lure, but security must become foremost. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andy Hurt, and I would like to talk about personal smartphones. I have an example here. This is a Palm Trio 700. Just a brief history, and I'm not talking about cell phones in general, but just the convergence, the level of convergence we're seeing is an extremely recent feature on the technology landscape. Even probably most of you can remember, even maybe as recent as 5 years ago, not having SMS, text messaging services on your phone, not having internet access, things of that nature. I mean, now we've got cameras on them, even video recording, lots of ways to communicate and share, and that's a very, very recent addition to our today's mobile devices. Like I've mentioned here, everything but the kitchen sink, really. So here's an example similar to mine. This is a new device coming out. In case you can't tell, we're Apple fans. This is the Apple iPhone. This is just one of many. Again, like I said, there's every vendor now has their flagship models. Again, with Palm and the Trio, Motorola has the Q, Apple with the iPhone, and they're on the rise. It's almost impossible today to buy just a very generic phone that does only phone calls. Like to talk about the impact on society. So today we have all this convergence. We have 1,000,001 ways to talk to our friends and family. With the push of a button, we can talk to someone across the globe. This is a level of communication that even several decades ago we could only dream of. One of the possible downsides of this is that we have less face-to-face communication now. Everything is just quick. It's really a frenetic pace. One-line text messages. We're talking more, but are we really connecting? Are we still having meaningful relationships, meaningful communication, or have we removed the human element from it with all of our technology? Again, as I mentioned, it has the ability to bring us closer together. I mean, you can call someone on the other side of the globe, but at the same time, it has the potential to be divisive. If you're anything like me, how often does the cell phone ring during dinner? How often, you get text messages, during what would traditionally have been, family time even 20 years ago. We're all today. Families, everyone's going off and doing their own things. It's, hi, bye, see you later. I've got my phone with me. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. basically the pace of proliferation for these devices, it's only going to increase. I mean, the companies are producing what consumers demand. I mean, we're a very feature-oriented society. We just want more, and it's unfortunate for the future that we may be gaining all this connectivity, and yet at the cost of actually decreased connections with our fellow humans. Now I'd like to turn it back to our surrogate George. Eric?
Thank you. I'd like to discuss a little bit about the effects of the family right now. The family culture. In the past, we had the extended nuclear closeness. Today, we're mobile and separated. Where is this going to take us for now? Right now, technology in the home, life made easier, or the creator of communication gaps in what was traditionally been a close-knit family. We have connectivity and all of those positive effects. When we separate at the mall, all right, we're constant communication. We don't hunt for each other for half an hour. Okay, even the Walmart, all right. We have all separated, spent 20 minutes looking for each other, all right. And that's helpful. Being able to talk to family members that have moved away in our society that has job transfers happening on a yearly basis. But also, this separation and the loss of relating at the home level. I mean, we are spending our time talking to others in our very home, not each other. And where is this taking us? I mean, the home is a place of employment, schooling, socializing, and entertainment. Is it forcing us to be closed away from the one-on-one interaction with the rest of the world? Or is it actually increasing that amount of connectivity? A lot of it, I think, has to depend on where we personally have to take it. We'll relate a little instance that happened in my own family. We're fairly high-tech in my house. We've got more computers than people. We all have cell phones. We're pretty well set up. The other night, I was in the chair with my laptop. I was online with another class. I was doing a group project. We're all working together, finishing it up. Looked up after I got finished with it and shut down the connection. Looked up. There's my wife. She's on her laptop. She's chatting with her sisters and her mother. We no longer live near her family, so she really enjoys that time to converse with them. Then I noticed my 15-year-old son. He's got at least 3 chat windows open. He's got music playing wirelessly through the speaker system in the house. His cell phone is flipped open and on, laying next to him because he's playing that song for one of his friends who's on the cell phone while he's chatting with other friends. Now, I admire his ability to multitask, even though he can't remember to mow the grass when I tell him to. But what really sunk in was that we had not uttered a single word to each other in an hour. And we were in the same room for that entire hour. That led to some changes in our home. We now have no technology time. We have dinner together. Phones are off. There is no text, nothing. Now, in the evenings later on, yeah, we fire it back up. But we have that at least 2-hour time period every night where we sit at the dinner table, we talk, we clean up the kitchen together, we take the dog for a walk together. And I think that is how we have to look at this. This is new technology. We have never had this in a home before. We've never had this kind of instant communication. Your generation and my children's generation right now, this is the first generation to really grow up with this instant everything. So right now we need to make sure that we teach everyone, and including ourselves, how to handle it. So I think that's where this future is going to depend, how we choose to take it. And in the interest of time, I think we'll skip individual conclusions and just go straight to Q&A.
Just give everybody 20 seconds if you like. 20-second conclusion.
Oh, we all pretty much did our little short one.
Okay.
Within our discussions, and and I just gave mine with the home connectivity.
Any questions? Communications. communicated very well.
Well, we obviously got it across so well, they have no need for knowledge.
Very good. Please clap your hands for this group as well. Oh, we have a question.